Okay, so in part 2 we're going to quickly review a couple of the tabs that are in the worksheet, the team tracking and projecting worksheet, business projection worksheet. And one of the tabs here has allows you to track, get this here, allows you to track by month, as you can see over here, by month your downline team. So as your downline team grows, so let's say you have 25 people on your team and then it goes up and so forth, you can keep track of that over the course of a year to see how you're progressing against your goals. Then over here on this column is your team sales. So here you put in your group wholesale volume, and as you'll remember from the compensation presentation, that GWV is what you get your percentage royalties paid on, so you want to keep track of that there. And then put in what your commission dollars are off of your team. Those go in this column, and then over the course of the months, so you can track and see the trends as those are growing. And then these two columns here, your average sales per team member and your team commission percentage, are automatically calculated from those three numbers being put into this tab. Now the downline and team sales you can get off of the downline link on your Sensi workstation excuse me, and then your commission dollars you can get off of the commission link on your Sensi workstation. Okay, so those numbers are easily trackable and you can get from those two places on your workstation. Now there's also a spot over here to kind of do a self-check. So each month you should probably be looking at your monthly results and assessing, am I getting where I want to go, and if not, what might you be thinking about doing differently, or do you need some additional training in recruiting, or do you, in assessing your own downline team, do you feel they need some additional training in recruiting or in how to more effectively sell product, or whatever the issues are that you see for yourself or for your team. You know, you can identify those here and put in some new action steps to try and get you back tracking towards where you want to go. Okay, so this second sheet, well, let me go back here real quick. So these two columns here, they feed this next sheet. So in this sheet, see, here's your average team sales per team member. That comes from this column here, okay, this one here. And then your team commission percentage comes from this column here. So you take the, so let's say that was February you were going to assess. You would put in the February numbers here. You could put those in here and here, and then this, in this tab, it automatically then projects what your business might look like at different levels of downline. Okay, so if you had 50 people on your downline, you could project what your average downline team sales per month would look like, what your compensation would look like for the month and for a year, and so forth. So you can see as the downline multiplier effect starts to kick into your business, how those numbers can change based on how your recruiting and sales efforts are evolving over time, and what that means in terms of team averages. And what you'll find, or what we found, is that some teams have a greater propensity, let's say, to sell than to recruit. So this number might be higher for one team as compared to another team. Another team might be seeing greater results here and maybe have a lower average sales per team member here. So that those two variables tend to change with the kind of the makeup of your team. But as your team gets larger and larger, what you're going to find is that that'll moderate a little bit, where you're going to see good development here and good development here, especially if you're really assessing yourself and working with your team, where we're not getting the recruiting numbers we'd hope, so let's work on recruiting strategies. We're not getting the sales growth, or the average sales per team member is lacking, so you're working on how to develop your team around that area. Then you'll start to see things moderate, where this becomes a fairly consistent number, and you're seeing this happen in a fairly consistent way as well. Okay, then over here in this orange section, I just wanted to give you a sense of the downline multiplier effect and how quickly some of this can grow. So let me clear some of this out of here so it's not as confusing. Okay, so let's say you have 25 people on your team, and so your next goal is to get to 50. Alright, well, to get to 50, what would have to happen? Well, if you looked at it over the course of a year, which is what this column over here is, over the course of a year, 25 people would just need to add one person. Each person on the team added one person, you would double and you would have 50. So you can see how quickly that can grow. Well, one a year for each person is not a very aggressive goal. Another way to get there would be if only 2 people out of those 25 each month got a recruit. Okay, right? So you were adding 2 people to your team each month. So let's say you had 25 right now. 2 of those 25 got a new recruit every month of the year. So only 2 out of your 25 were getting a new recruit. Well, obviously 2 times 12 months out of the year would be 24. So let's say you add 1, so 25 more. Well, then that gets you to 50. So you can see how this can compound pretty quickly with some pretty small numbers, either on an annual or a monthly basis. Okay, so if you look at this column, this is just telling you, well, if you have 25 here, you need 25 more, and then that gets you to 50. If you've got 25 and you want to get to 100 here, well, then you're going to have to add 50, which means if you've got 50 people on your team, of those 50, 4 need to add 1 each month of the year, and that'll get you to your 50, which gets you to 100. Or of those 50 people, if each one adds 1 in a year, then obviously that's going to double your team and you're going to get to 100. So you can see how quickly these numbers can go if you've got everybody focused, let's say, on adding, like the downline multiplier effect. If everybody's adding 1 per month, you can see how rapidly this can expand. Now, some teams are more aggressive at being successful with that. Others need additional training. You just need to evaluate that as you're building out your downline team as to what makes sense to make them successful. Okay, so in the third stage of this step of this presentation, Danette and I are going to go over all the tabs within this downline, or this team tracking and business projector worksheet, and give you a sense of how to go about developing your goals and tracking your business and projecting the financial outcomes that you might expect to get.